Hi, my name's Derek Foster.
My name is Brody Beckman.
And this is Wildcat 919, You Belong. And we are here at Switch Wicked. And we are joined by a band fresh off an amazing performance, The Sounds of Many.
Hi, how we doing?
Great. How are you guys doing? What a show that was.
Thank you so much. First off, I just want to say thank you so much for having us on today.
Of course.
Thank you for the performance. It was a treat. It was a real treat.
So you started off this show. I think it was after the second song. You were saying, it was 9 years and 2 days.
Yep.
Basically, I forgot the exact words, but it was very important and special to you to come back to Manhattan, Kansas to perform here. How does that feel now, post-show, after coming back to Manhattan? Because you said you were born here.
So I think in the haze of playing, I misspoke. It's been 9 years and 3 days since my very first show here in Manhattan, Kansas, which was at Sisters of Sound. Huge shout out to Sisters of Sound. Any of you people that are listening, go buy records from, grab them. Physical media, they can't take it away from you. No. And to play this show tonight where there was, a pretty full house, it felt wonderful. That very first show was a very intriguing show. I blew my speakers on the second song and had to wait about half an hour while one of my friends retrieved an additional guitar amp. But no speakers were blown today. So that's a win. We're on the up.
Sounds like it.
Sweet. You guys had a fantastic set list tonight, including a couple covers. You had music from FLCL and you had White Room by Cream. Would you list those two as some of your guys' inspirations?
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of classic rock influence, I think, for both of us, if not all of us. But yeah, Cream, Led Zeppelin, all those 60s rock bands, especially, some of my favorites. Sure.
I actually tend to lean a little bit more modern, but that's just me. I'm always the contrarian of the band, more or less. I thrive being difficult. It's my favorite thing to do.
What's the thought process like when choosing what songs to include in a set list and maybe which covers to throw in there as well?
Thought process. When we're playing a slightly longer set like we did tonight, something that's like an hour long, I do my best to kind of try to have a little bit of ebb and flow between the energy, so that way, it's either not, super chill for one half and then just smacks you out in the face in the second half, or, sometimes it's fun to be full octane for the entire time, but at the same time, sometimes people need a break. So I try to, think of it like a roller coaster. You have a big build up and then like a fast decline and then a couple things and then maybe another incline, and try to keep it where, obviously the songs tell a story, but I hope that, the order and the emotions that are brought forward through a set, hopefully those also help resonate with folks as well.
Absolutely.
Now, Brody, you would ask them about the thought process behind the set list. I was going to ask them about what the process was like creating this new EP that you guys just came out with, Ishtar Wears High Heels. Did I get the name right? Me and Brody loved it. We were listening to it for like an hour before you guys came here. It was great. Could you walk us through a little bit of what it was like making that project?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. About 6 years ago, I took a couple tabs of acid, as I was one to do at that time. And I remember I was just chilling on my couch and eating marshmallows, because marshmallows are really good to eat whenever you're high. And I was watching I was watching like the History Channel's YouTube, so that way it's like good History Channel, not what the History Channel is right now. I don't really have a whole lot of interest in like ice road truckers, but I was watching this documentary on like the Indus River Valley civilizations and Mesopotamia, and they were talking about Ishtar, this goddess of like war and fertility, and it just got beamed into my skull, Ishtar Wears High Heels. I want to do something with that name. That I was like, it's a little long, but I think it's got a good mouthfeel, and I liked that. So I was like, I'm going to make something out of that. And I was really happy when the band decided, actually, no, we're okay with that. We're fine with that being the EP title. I was like, yes, I get to finally use it. We released our first EP, Sounded Out, last year, and we did everything ourselves. We recorded it ourselves, we mixed it ourselves, we mastered it ourselves, we did everything. And I think, not to get too meta about this, but for all those that are listening, you can't do everything yourself. I'm not the best mixing engineer. I'm not the best mastering engineer. And so with Ishtar Wears High Heels, we reached out to Michael Camus, who runs Earthling Studios out in San Diego. And we worked with him for the mixing and mastering of this new EP. And it sounds light years better. The songs are still good songs off of Sounded Out, but just in regards to sound quality, it sounds much better. And so we were able to track everything within my home studio that I have, which was really fun. We get to be experimental. We kind of get to work at our own pace versus being on the clock at someone else's studio. So that is very freeing. And then we can just kind of, send our child off, and we hope that it doesn't get maimed.
I would agree. It's very natural just recording it at Lucas's home studio that he has, and he's been kind of building over the past couple of years. So it's very nice just being able to record everything at home, and then like you were saying, just send it off and hope it sounds good. And I think we're all pretty pleased with how it turned out.
Yeah, the other thing that's different about this EP versus the previous is basically all of our older material is more or less just been written by Lucas. Whereas to the current record, there's been that relinquish of control in just, all right, I have selected you as the member of the band that handles this instrument. Therefore, you will write the part for this instrument. So for me, that is kind of a must. I'm super stubborn as a person. I need to be able to do my own thing. I need to tell a guitarist, no, you don't know how to play bass. Leave me alone. I'm going to write my part. This isn't applicable to Lucas. He's originally a bassist, so he's allowed to have valid input. But I think it's important for every member of your band to take ownership of what they are in. They need to really invest in being a member and being a part of the creative process. Otherwise, that's how you get burnt out. That's how you feel underrepresented. And you know your own talents and leanings better than anyone else. So that's the best way you can ever contribute in any kind of creative environment.
Absolutely. It's been great to hear the journey of how you guys came to Ishtar Wears High Heels. I liked hearing about how you guys were kind of trying to reinvent the brand of the band almost a little bit. and the word that I heard come up was kind of for the new feel, kind of sexy. Would you guys, if you guys had to choose one or two words that kind of encapsulate the feel of the new, just how you guys are currently, what one or two words would you guys use?
Dark and sexy.
I love it. I love it.
I would say fired and up, because we're
Yes.
we're getting out there. Well, no, fired up, just those two. But we're getting out there. We're trying to really push this EP and play a bunch of shows and just really get out there. So
I would say enthusiastic and reinvigorated.
Speaking of fired up, you guys had a fantastic stage presence, interacting with the audience.
Oh my
Just
goodness.
all over the stage, up on the speakers, up on the drums. There was points where I was scared. I'd look over at Derek. I was like, oh my gosh.
We shared a couple of looks during that show. Like, yo, they're going crazy.
I hope this has been pretty rehearsed. Do you guys have a favorite? Do you guys have a favorite song that you like to perform live, just because of how energetic it gets? Maybe audience participation.
I mean, it's really hard to beat Mindfield. I think
Mindfield.
that, if any of you guys that are listening ever come out to any of our shows, be prepared to mosh during that song. And I think that that's one of my all-time favorite songs to just play, because you could just burn right through it. 105 miles per hour.
I would say also maybe Teach the Killer, the opening song, because it's the only one that's in a compound meter, in case you didn't notice. And it's just just a fun one to get started off with. It's 4/4 if you count it hard enough, but if you count it properly,
Everything's 4/4 if you're not a nerd.
well, there's a couple music nerds in this band, at least. But yeah, I'd say Teach the Killer is always a good one to get started off with and bring out a lot of energy. But
I think for me, my favorite right now is probably Helpline Direct, mostly just because I get to go ham pretty much the whole time for our live shows, when we switch over to our D standard, so a couple songs in our set. I will switch to my Thunderbird, and it's really funny seeing a dude that's 5'5" play a bass that is very nearly the same size as him. So there is a humor to that, but it's just fun. I get to wrestle it and act like I'm, I don't know, wrestling an alligator or something. I look all kinds of crazy on stage, but it's fun. I get to do a bunch of big, powerful power chords, and I just get to have my way with it the whole time. It's a great experience.
Absolutely.
It's a pretty common occurrence for whenever I go out into the crowd. Inevitably, thankfully it didn't happen tonight, but it almost always happens where somebody hits my guitar cable and it comes unplugged, and I'm like, oh, there goes my guitar. The only good thing a wireless rig would be for, but other than that, I mean, honestly, we're pretty well rehearsed at this point. Things don't really go too wrong, and luckily we've got really good musicians up on stage that know how to recover. Oh,
He's got one.
We do have a tendency, if it's really packed and we're really feeling it, at the end of so it is our band's tradition to always play Minefield at the end of pretty much every set. It's just how we do it, unless of course Brad has murdered his snare, in which case we skip it. But other than that, we pretty much always play that. And if it's feeling really rowdy and the energy's really high, we'll just start grabbing people and just be like, hey, come on stage, whatever. Come hang out. Come dance with us. And it's pretty inevitable that somebody's chords are going to get unplugged. And then we just kind of, you're sitting there, you're playing, you're like, oh, wow, I'm really quiet. Like, oh, wait, I'm worse than quiet. I'm silent. Uh-oh. So that happens to us more often than I'd prefer. But, what are you going to do? It's about, making people happy. And Are they gonna remember the 5 seconds that you didn't play? Probably not. They're probably gonna be a little bit more into the, oh yeah, I got to go jump on stage and dance around and push people. It was a good time.
I kind of remember that, but yeah, me and you seem like we always do the cable thing on accident or maybe on purpose. You know, just accidentally step wrong and unplug the cable. Yeah, sometimes there's stuff like that. Or one time, I think it was at the Bowery. We played there. Of course, on Minefield, we were going crazy on the last song. I'm just strumming like crazy, and one of my fingers just started like getting ripped up on the strings, and just like ended up bleeding all over it and everything. But
Got that I think the last thing I want to say is on the last tour we did is I've never seen somebody break as many strings playing guitar as Lucas had. It was probably every other show that a string got broken.
The sounds of many. Thank you guys so much for joining us here at Switch Wicked tonight on Points Avenue.
And we hope
No.
that you guys can come back to Switch Wicked, Manhattan, Kansas, there, because you guys were great.
Absolutely. It was a fantastic show.
We would love to be back. Well, thank you so much for having us on this wonderful evening, and we can't wait to work with you in the future.
Absolutely. Well,
What's up?
Yeah!
We're keeping that in.
Do not edit that out.